Here it is. Both stories linked. Top news on Drudge Report last night and today. Very exciting because they've now gone mega viral. TSA conducting grope downs at the DNC. They're also at highway checkpoints everywhere. Very, very important article. But the really big story is that they're now in the airports nationwide when you get a Starbucks coffee or something, and they come up and stick a swab to see if it's explosives. Again, to make you feel like you're guilty, you're the bad person, you are bad. Even when you've gone through a checkpoint, you're still a suspect, getting you ready for them on the streets and highways where they now are. This is all a giant laboratory where you get your Starbucks, you get your drink, you get your bottle of water, they see you buy it. I've seen them do this, and you say, hey, wait a minute, I just bought this here. They're like, we don't care, we're doing it. It's about total domination and just getting you to comply. And the idea that there's a threat, when the threat is they waive, well, they do the background check to make sure they're felons or have a criminal background or are totally mindless authoritarians who want to treat you like 3-year-olds. That's why the new TSA are mainly women, I've noticed, kind of the nanny state type that treat you like a 3-year-old at a daycare center. And I've noticed this in Austin. Women, if you're even talking to people, even your friends, will come dress you down because you're not supposed to talk as a man. You're supposed to shut up or only talk about sports. Can you imagine living with those women? Anyways, the point is that it's a, and again, we're here to empower women. But we don't want to be enslaved as men with women as the house slaves over us. The Romans did that with their white slaves. You don't think they came up with black women in this country as the slave master when the slave master was gone, did you? You didn't think the mammy in the house and the men out in the barn, you didn't think that just started here, did you? That's over 2,000 years old from Rome. The women are kept in the house and mind the men. That's slave manuals from Rome. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue here. And let me just tell women something. You're not my master. You get it through your head. Okay? You got that? I'm off the plantation. You get that through your head, you feminist out there. You're not feminist. You're run by the CIA, Miss Magazine. You don't even know it. You're too stupid. The reason you're so unhappy is because you haven't empowered men in your life, and you just think of men as trash, and you've turned men into trash. Men only rise and are strong when women get behind them and beside them. Doesn't matter. I'm just speaking out to the slave master servants. Alex Jones here with a very important announcement for truth seekers. We've carried a lot of amazing films and books over the years on the online video bookstore at Infowars.com. And out of all the titles we've carried, one stands out because it is just so chillingly convincing. And that's Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert, available at Infowars.com. This film exposes the fraud that Obama is like nothing I've seen. If you want to know who Obama's real daddy is, this is the film for you. Don't forget, your purchase supports our broadcast and our growing media network. You'll also find at InfoWarsShop.com, None Dare Call It Conspiracy by Gary Allen, the book that woke me up. We're also carrying Behind the Green Mask, UN Agenda 21 by Rosa Corey. This book is coffin nails to the globalist takeover. The Greater Good, the most professional and up-to-date film I've ever seen exposing the scourge that is vaccines. These titles and a lot more are all available at InfoWarsShop.com. Former New York Times writer, well, he still writes for him, writes for a lot of other big papers, Pulitzer Prize winner Chris Hedges, headline, "Revolt is our only option." And he quotes in an article that the New American links to, the Declaration of Independence penned by Thomas Jefferson, "But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security." And he goes on to say they're secretly arresting people, they're torturing people's children in front of their parents. All of this is going on. They're now starting to arrest people. They're going after journalists. If they have the NDAA in place and say Congress is suspended and Congress can be told that NATO's their boss, I mean, we're living in a lawless system where the president works for foreign banks, and so does Mitt Romney, the next row of shark teeth rolling up into view. Then revolt's all we've got. Yeah, but InfoWar revolt and civil disobedience and saying no and discrediting the system and having the state stand up. And I know those are the solutions, not just open, violent, confrontation, because the globalists are all set up to go after those those avenues of redress that the founders gave us, the protest, the info war, the media, the openly exposing and shaming the criminals, states' rights, running for local office to educate people, info war. The globalists want to go ahead and start a physical war because they don't care if police and military get killed in that. They'll sit offshore, let us chew each other up, and then come in and pose as the saviors. We have got to come together and say we don't want this tyranny, because the globalists are more than willing to go to this level. But he is right that, revolt, there's many forms of that, is becoming more and more the only option. So you need to revolt in the media. You need to revolt with civil disobedience. You need to stop complying with things that are unconstitutional. You need to start ignoring the system. Here's an example. Barton Springs here in Austin, old, great, dammed up, cold springs that feeds in the Colorado River, has an area where the spillway goes out to the river. It's beautiful. It's only about 3 feet deep. People bring their dogs there. They play. They have a great time. They swim. For years, they'd come and write everybody tickets. People just ignored it. They fought it. They got jury trials. Austin juries would not uphold the tickets, so they stopped writing tickets and stopped arresting people for taking their dogs off leash and swimming. And now it's even better than Barton Springs. Okay, just north of it there. It's 5 yards over the spillway, right there leading out to the Colorado. It's gorgeous. They tried to tell you couldn't swim in the Colorado. Totally safe river, moves about a mile an hour. People just ignored it and started swimming. And now suddenly it's a huge tourist attraction, down there at the river. But see, they wanted to charge money to be able to only go to Barton Springs. But people just said, this is illegitimate. We're not going to follow it. They said black people weren't humans and were slaves. People started fighting back and saying, verbally, I am a human being. And other people agreed with them and said they are human beings. But people also later, when people got abusive, got physical. It's all part of that threat continuum against tyranny. Okay, so we just have to exercise our power. Liberty is not given. It is demanded. It is taken. And we are entering something like Nazi Germany and Soviet Russia. Everything we warned you about is now unfolding. And Chris Hedges is right. But if you will not revolt with the pen today, you will never, when cornered, go to the sword. So work with the pen and prepare to not be loaded on those army trucks and taken to a FEMA camp with the sword, because it is moving in that direction. We are trying as hard as we can to avert this. But the globalists have a worldwide agenda to bankrupt nation states with a new colonialism run by foreign offshore banks, where they target the Western wealthy nations first, because that's always something the third world aspires to. They want to reverse things into a post-industrial neo-feudal system where things are measured by how much they're devolved. They want to use poverty as a weapon. You're being given the deep secrets here.
Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.